what's up guys? My name is Rachel and welcome back to my channel, Reading with Remy. Today I'm debuting our beautiful new shelves, well, new shelf, and then we rearranged. So our black bookshelf that held our classics is now our like TV series slash games, because we have all these games and they were never displayed, so we forgot we had them. And then we have moved our classics to the bottom of these shelves, which you can't see. We'll do a bookshelf tour eventually. And then alphabetized, and now we have some cute little display shelves. So we always have Cassandra Clare. We have 2 Harry Potter shelves now, which we're very proud of. And then, of course, my obsession with Rick Riordan is down on the end. So, yeah, I just wanted to give you guys a quick, overview. But now, this video is actually going to be the Harry Potter spells tag. I believe that's the correct name for it. I'd never done this tag, and then I saw somebody do it again, and I was like, debut. So, yeah. And we had to make sure the Harry Potter shelves were in shot because it's the Harry Potter spells tag. So basically this tag is a bunch of Harry Potter spells, and they correlate with a question that is book related. Let's get right into it. So the first spell is Expecto Patronum, and that is a childhood book connected to good memories. I went way back for this one. Our parents brought over some of our younger books a while ago to our apartment because they were tired of keeping them, so I dug this one out. And this is The Rainbow Fish by Marcus, I can never say his name because it's got a silent letter, I'm not gonna try. But I loved this book when I was a kid, still do. It's so cute. Yeah, you just can't go wrong, so I had to bring it out. The second question is Expelliarmus, a book that took you by surprise. That is Dear Martin by Nick Stone. I picked this up last year at YALLFest because I wanted a signed book, and she put all these cute things in the front, and so I was like, yeah, I'll go for that one. This is about a boy, and he is living in Atlanta, that area. It's been a while since I read it. And one day he's with his best friend, and his best friend gets killed by an off-duty cop, and so it's about him trying to deal with it. And he writes these letters to Martin Luther King Jr. Martin, what would you do? He's trying to approach it in a positive way, and it's just really interesting, and I love the way it was written, so it took me by surprise for sure. Next book is Prior Incantado. I'm probably saying that wrong. And that is the last book that you read, and I looked on Goodreads, and this is accurate. This is the last book I didn't DNF, so the last book that I actually finished. And that is Simon vs. the Homo Sapiens Agenda by Becky Albertalli. I picked this up because we just watched the movie, and I loved it. It was really cute. A lot of times when I watch the movie first and then pick up the book, I can't finish the book because I'm just I already know what happens, and it just kind of kills it. This was really fun, even though I'd already seen the movie. Definitely would recommend. Question number 4 is Alohomora, a book that introduced you to a genre you had not considered before. I had to think really hard about this one, but I ended up going with Anna and the French Kiss by Stephanie Perkins. Before I read this book, I was like, ew, contemporary? I'm not gonna read contemporary. I'm not into romances. Gross. I'd rather read fantasy. No, that's a dang lie. I'm contemporary, trash now. But this book and this series in particular kind of introduced me to contemporary, and, that it's actually really fun. And sometimes you just need light and fluffy. You can't always have fantasy. Next question is Ridiculous, a funny book that you've read. I have lots of these. I love comedic memoirs, so I feel like I could pick any of them. But I went with Bossy Pants by Tina Fey because she's one of my favorites, and this is probably one of the favorite books that I've read that's a comedic memoir. I've never gotten rid of it. The next question is Sonorous? Yeah, sorry, I don't pronounce spells when I read the books. But that is a book that you think everybody should know about. And I feel like I talk about the same 5 books on my channel over and over again, so I tried to find one that I don't talk about all the time to apply to this. So I'm going with Salt of the Sea by Ruta Sepetys. This book is fantastic. It's a historical fiction set in Prussia during World War II, and it's about this band of kind of random misfits, if you will, that are trying to get to the coast to get on German ships to escape Prussia because the Soviet Union is invading. And it's just really gripping and beautifully written, and it's incredible. It's a hard book to read, but it's incredible. The next question is Obliviate, and this is a book or spoiler you wish you could forget having read. I don't really do spoilers, so I was kind of like trying to find something for this. I ended up going with spoiler anyway, actually, surprisingly enough. I don't have this book anymore because of this reason, but I went with Every Day by David Levithan. I love David Levithan. Like, he's one of my favorite, like, kind of, well, I guess he's not well known, but he's not like a big author either. He's one of my favorite contemporary writers, and we watched the movie, and I think it just killed it. Like, we watched the movie, and the movie was good, and then I tried to read the book, and the book was too much like the movie for it to interest me separately, so I was just like, yeah, this isn't gonna happen. So I DNF'd it. I tried, but I just kept thinking about the movie, and it just had no, like, drive for me. Next question is Imperio, a book you had to read for school. Also struggled with this one, and then I was about to give up, and I was like, wait a minute, I read this book. This is not the copy I had in school, but I did read this book in school. And that is And Then There Were None by Agatha Christie. I read this in 9th grade, and I actually really liked it. And I think this is kind of what, like, got me into, like, mysteries, which is probably why I read, like, Kathy Reichs and Tess Kirsten. But this is a really interesting book, and if you haven't read it, you should read it. It's one of the few school books that I read and didn't hate. The next question is Crucio, a book that was painful to read. So, I have to explain my reasoning for this one. And that is They Both Die at the End by Adam Silvera. This was not painful because it was a bad book. I'm just going to throw that out there right now. I loved this book. It was painful because the title is They Both Die at the End. And they introduce you to all of these great characters, and the two main characters in particular, and you know they're all going to die at the end. So the whole time you're reading it, you're like, don't fall in love, they're going to die. Don't fall in love with them, they're going to die. But you can't help it because he writes them so beautifully that you're like, I love these characters, but they're gonna die. And you just, yeah, you can't not cry when you read this book. Unless you don't get attached to the characters, then you could probably do it. But if you're like me, they're so beautifully written and so relatable that you're just like, but I want them to be together forever. And they can't be. So it's kind of rips your heart out a little bit. And it's really not nice of Adam Silvera. Just gonna throw that out there. The last question is Avada Kedavra, a book that could kill you, and it says interpret as you will. Therein lies the problem. So, this took me a really long time. But I ended up going with A Game of Thrones by George R.R. Martin, and for two reasons. Two different ways you can interpret this, well, two different ways I did, and this applied to, both of them applied to this book, so I went with it. Number one, it could kill you because it's intimidating. Let's be honest, this is a massive monstrosity of a book. I have read it, but it's, oh, that's all information stuff. It is 674 pages of this size. I read it at Mass Market, and I'm pretty sure it was over 1,000. And then I liked it, so I bought a floppy copy because floppy is great. I could kind of kill you. Like, you look at it and you're like, oh my god, no. Also because if you were in this book, like, if you were a character in this book, you doomed. You're probably gonna die. Like, chances are it's gonna happen. Especially because it's a series. At some point in the series, yeah, you can just kiss your life goodbye. So if you were in this world, you'd probably be on the wrong end of a sword. So, two ways you can interpret that. So that's it for this tag. That was the Harry Potter book spells tag. Harry Potter spells tag, not book spells tag. Anyway, so I think everybody's done this by now, but if you happen to be watching this and you haven't done it, consider yourself tagged. So yeah, I'll see you guys in another video.